Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the fuck it is?
Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism.
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bitch bag holders.
Rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
Wop, babaloo, bop, balop, bamboo.
We're doing that one then?
If we get to it.
We can do that one first.
No, we don't have to. If we get to it. And if we don't get to it, then we could probably still do it and save it for have one.
Do we have enough time before we have to go to the?
Yeah, because it's 308. So
Okay.
408, 508. Yeah, we'd have enough.
Perfect.
We are here in so-and-so doing so-and-so club. I don't know if I want to say it because I want to quote my man Godfrey. Ugh.
It's not.
It is.
No.
It is. It's like a booger you can't reach.
It's just, it has, it does.
Big shout out to my man, came see me twice. I was glad he came out this time because last time we were here, it was COVID. So remember, we had to perform in front of the truck outside.
Yeah, that isn't straight, is it?
No, now it is.
Yeah.
But he came out this time now that we're back in. A big shout out to my man, one of the greatest defenders in the NBA, champion with the Miami Heat, played most of his tenure with the Seattle Supersonics, played the last part of his career with the Lakers on the super team that didn't win with Malone, Shaq, and Kobe. Gary Payton, who we are going to get on the podcast at some point. He said he would love to have us on his too, but he said he'll definitely do ours. Gary Payton, man.
Yeah, that was nice to see him. I met him last time we came out here, but this was different because he was relaxed.
Better conditions.
Better conditions. He looks good.
He just got that I don't play basketball no more belly.
Yeah, but I think it was bigger last time we saw him. I think COVID, he got like, he's pulled it back in. He looks good, man. He looks like an ex-NBA player. You know, when you see him on the court, when you're watching games on TV, some of these guys look smaller.
Yeah.
You know, they just look undersized because they're standing up next to 7-footers.
Right.
And then when you see him in person, he's not a small guy.
No, he's not. He's not.
So it's just funny when you see those guys. You know, yeah.
It's weird. It's weird for me too, because you know, my baby mom fucked him and Shaq.
At the same time?
No, I don't know. Shit. Shit. 3 more motherfuckers, and that's the starting 5. But it's just weird to shake these niggas' hands and show love and get love back. And I'm like, damn, baby mom's such a dick, nigga. But it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
God, what a weird note to go to. But yeah, yeah, maybe I'll ask Gary about that when he does the podcast.
Did you? Oh God, this is such a weird thing to say. I mean, in life, there's dudes you're friends with that slept with the same girls that you've slept with. No.
Well, my actual friends, no, but like celebrity niggas or dudes that I bump shoulders with.
You never compared notes.
No, okay. Because listen, dude. One, that would be an awkward conversation to have if it were your friend. But when it's somebody who's not really your friend, listen, here's the thing, and I always said this, living in LA, you'll never meet a bad bitch that wasn't with a celebrity, that got banged by a celebrity. The badder she is, the more likely she has been fucked by a celebrity. And if there's nothing else, I fucked her, so there you go. So it happens. I've never been with a bad broad who later in discussions, she goes, well, you know, there's the one time every broad I've ever been with that's been a dime had some celeb dick. My very first one, my very first girlfriend, whose name I have tattooed on my arm, fucks Sylvester Stallone. I told you that, right?
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, the answer machine. Hey, yo, Juliet, Sly.
So.
And had a Polaroid of his cock.
That sounds really, really creepy. I got to be honest.
He sent her he took a picture of his dick and gave it to her.
A Polaroid though.
A Polaroid. This was yeah.
That's what these guys are still. When you're in your 70s, that's what you're still giving out.
Al Pacino. Wait a minute. Let me get the flash bombs.
Just shake it.
Yeah.
You'll see it in a
Blow
second.
on it, honey. Blow on it. Give it a hoo-ah. Yeah. Dude, interesting. Right across the street from the club we're at is a place called, you know the name of the burger place?
Nations.
Big Mouth Burgers. And I went there the other night and they had a display of pies. And I went and grabbed Andy because I know that's his thing.
I love pie.
He loves dessert. He loves pie. And we were looking at all the pies they had. And you said something to me about you put cheese on apple pie.
No. Let me. It's very important you say it the right way.
I don't know that there's a right way to say this.
I have put a slice of cheese on apple pie.
That's common?
It's something that I saw that they did in the South, and I tried it.
Oh,
it's a Southern thing.
I never even really.
Yeah, but a lot of people put cheddar. I tried it with Swiss, and I tried it with cheddar.
Cheese on pie?
Yeah, but I don't do it normally. Like normally, I tried it because I saw that it was something that people did. And I got to be honest, though, it wasn't bad.
I could not imagine that on the palate.
It wasn't bad. It just adds a creamy texture on like if you put whipped cream or ice cream on it. But no, cheese.
Whipped cream and ice cream is a dairy. It belongs on it.
Cheese is a dairy too.
You're right. It is, but
when it melts, when you warm it up, when you put it in the oven, it melts on it. It has a creamy texture. I'm just saying.
Sounds disgusting.
I didn't think I was going to like the cheddar. The cheddar wasn't bad, but it's not something I do. I've done it. I'll tell you exactly when I did it. Have you ever been to Costco and got one of them big giant pies?
No, I've never been to Costco.
Oh, dude,
no, that's for women and Mexicans.
Nah, man, you're missing out. You don't understand Costco.
I've never been to Costco.
Dad, you know what, dude? If you do anything in the next month, go to Costco. Just go try it.
Okay.
Just to see, you're missing out on regular people's shit because you don't see. You see it as a waste of time. Do that.
All right.
Expand a mini horizon and go see it.
It'd be a big horizon if I ever put cheese on my apple
pie.
But
well, they have these giant pies, and I can't eat them all. Right. I mean, I had it. I was living by myself. I had this giant pie, and I had some cheese because I bought cheese at Costco. So I saw it, and I thought I would try it. And so I tried it, and I wanted to get rid of that pie, so I'd have it at lunchtime, and I put a piece of cheese on it, and I did it. And but I haven't done it since then, and that was 30 years ago probably. But like I'm just saying, it's not a bad thing.
Just can't see it, but you might be right. To the people watching, notice I don't have on a McDonald's shirt. I got a fucking hoodie. So if you bastards that go, oh, he always wears that same shirt, he must stink. Smell good, right, Andy?
Yeah, I'm not sniffing you. I'm sure you don't stink because I would have smelled you coming in.
All right. So, but look,
I'm not gonna.
It ain't McDonald's.
I'm not gonna Joe Biden you and take a whiff of you.
Or I could Ike Turner you and smash your face into my chest. Dude, interesting movie I saw on the plane ride over. I don't know if you've seen it. The Covenant with Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, I haven't seen it.
Dude, check that out. You know what it's about? He's in the armed forces.
When he has to go back and save the guy that saved him?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to see it.
Dude, it's a great fucking solid movie.
Yeah, I wanted to see it.
And the climax, oh boy.
Really?
Man, it's fucking good.
Yeah, I wanted to see it. I'll probably see it tomorrow on my way back home.
Yeah, he's in Afghanistan and his team gets captured and basically killed. It's just him and his interpreter who's Afghani.
And has to save him.
And he has to save him.
He doesn't have to save him, but he does save him.
And the save is miraculous because what he had to go through. And then Jake ends up back home, but now this guy has a
bounty on
his head because he betrayed the Taliban and helped the infidel. And so him and his family, his wife and his son are in hiding. And Jake's like, yo, I got to do the right thing. Because they weren't giving him the visas. So he said, fuck that, I'm going by myself. Goes, saves the dude, gets the visa. Man, it's a great fucking movie, man. You'll love it. I guarantee you'll love it. It's not a disappointment at all.
I'll check it out.
Winning Time?
Yeah, Winning Time. Did you want, do we have anything else that we were going to talk about? Oh, no, you don't know.
Those were my little small notes.
I got a small note for you. Yeah. I thought it was funny because you took me over to, when you did take me over to the pie place.
Yeah.
and you said that's sweet potato pie. And I go, nah, that's too dark to be sweet potato pie.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And you like a lot of Negro facts that you know.
I like how you call them Negro facts.
Black people don't eat pumpkin pie. We eat sweet potato pie. Which I'm gonna tell you, this is one of those things where I go, I think that's a myth. We probably predominantly eat sweet potato pie, but a pumpkin pie is good, man.
Well, pumpkin pie is easier to find too. Like especially like during November when it's Thanksgiving.
If you want to find a good sweet potato pie, you have to find a brother in a bow tie and a suit.
I know quite a few people that make sweet potato pie.
Black,
white, and Mexican.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know any white guys that make sweet potato pie.
Right.
But a sweet potato pie is my favorite. I prefer it over pumpkin pie.
You know, it's weirdly enough, they don't, but they almost taste the same to me.
They do taste similar. There's a little difference in the texture, and I just like the sweet potato pie better. But I just thought it was funny because I was like, no, that's not that. And then I said, I don't see one in there. And then she went. She said, no, they only had them in the small, like individual pies, like a tart pie or something.
Right.
But I just thought that was funny.
And then I saw what was custard pie.
Yeah, and custard.
Which you said is egg.
Yeah.
The whole thing looked like a scrambled egg in a silver dish.
Well, you never had custard, like just a dessert custard?
No.
No, it's good.
Maybe I should have custard with cheese at Costco's.
No, but I think they probably do sell some kind of custard at Costco that you could get. No, you don't need cheese on the custard.
I was just trying to put the three together.
I know, but it didn't go.
All right. Just like to me, cheese and apple pie.
I know, but I didn't even suggest that you try it, but I do suggest you try going to Costco.
Okay.
Because you should see where you could buy a 10-pound bag of chips and your tires for your car all at the same place. That you have to experience that. That's like better than Disneyland.
Seems like that's some shit you can get off the freeway from a Mexican.
You got to try it.
All right, winning time.
Yeah, winning time. Episode 3.
Loved it. This thing, I'm telling you, oh God.
It was. I honestly would have liked it. I mean, I said I was going to watch it because I wanted to watch him. I look forward to watching him on Sunday.
I can't believe these two blokes about basketball.
But God,
So,
did I? Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
But dude, was I disappointed that it ended, that it was over.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it's like, again, Sopranos, Power. I'm like, damn, I want another chip. And now you took the bag away from me till next week.
But doesn't it feel good? And I mean, doesn't it feel good to have some anticipation for something that we don't get it? Because the way television and movies are done now, it's at your fingertips, and you don't have to wait. You get what you want when you want it. That there's no anticipation. And I think we're missing that. I think that's a key part of life is anticipation, waiting for something, waiting for that second date with that girl that you went out with, that you had the best time. Anticipation, waiting for something that you don't get it right at your fingertips. You demand. We're not kings. We're not like we're not supposed to be like snapping our fingers and people rolling out for shit for us.
Speak for yourself.
I love the anticipation. I was disappointed it was over, but I'm nothing but looking forward to seeing the next episode. And I watched the other episode again just because I didn't have another one.
Right.
I'm telling you, we're fucked up the way that we are ingesting entertainment because there is no anticipation. It's just on demand, and this is nice waiting.
Well, listen, it's nice to have that as an option, though. You could always have it where you could binge, but choose not to.
But who? Okay, let me ask you this. So the girl says, I'm not sleeping with you on the second. I'll sleep with you on the third date. And so you anticipate that whole week or whatever goes by to be with that girl. Or she says, I want to only sleep with you on the third date, but I'll sleep with you tonight. You're waiting? No, you don't wait for the end. You have the anticipation comes because it's essential that you wait, not because it's your choice. Choice is that's different. It's when you.
Well, I'll take whatever she gives me because after I get done with her, she ain't gonna want to fuck me no more.
I'm just saying, anticipation. There's something about that when you think all week about going out and it's going to be this night. I mean, there's anticipation. We don't have it. It's gone from our existence.
I understand the rush of waiting and then receiving, but once you receive. Goddamn, don't snatch my plate away. I'm not done eating. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn. Dude, I love how they put the focus on Bird. This one was really about Bird.
Well, Bird and Nixon.
Yes.
And so that was pretty cool. And I really did enjoy. because he didn't have so many parts before until this episode. The dude playing Bird is awesome.
Dude, before I get deep into that, let me just say, too, for this young generation and for the people that are watching this, stop that horse shit that Larry Bird couldn't play in today's era. Because I read that so much online from the younger generation. Man, Bird would get mopped in today's generation. Kevin Durant would kill Bird. Whenever I put together a fantasy team versus, I go, all right, at my small forward Bird, and people go, over Kevin Durant? You crazy. And then people, the smart ones, point out, listen, if Luka Doncic, I always have a hard time saying his last name, Luka Doncic, or Doncic, whatever it is,
Doncic
can dominate and play the way he's playing, Bird would kill, because Bird's better than him.
Bird was Dirk Nowitzki before Dirk Nowitzki.
Nowitzki.
Even Nowitzki. It's the same game.
I can't say Doncic. You can't say Nowitzki.
It's the same game, inside and out, being the big Bird. People don't realize how big Bird was. Bird was a big Bird. I said big Bird. They don't realize how tall he was. He wasn't
6'9", right?
I know he's taller than that. I think he was 6'10". We're not going to quibble over the inch here, unless it's dick size, and then
I like
it's
that
important.
quibble over the inch here.
Yeah, unless it's dick size. Yeah. Then
wow. Sometimes, boy, you be putting together some shit. All right, go ahead.
But no, he was tall. He wasn't fast, but neither was Dirk.
Right. Well, again, I love that moment in I think at the 30 for 30 with the Bad Boys. When they had the press conference because of Isaiah validating what Bird said about Bird. If he was just a black guy, he'd be just another good guy. And Bird said, well, here I am getting ready to contend for a championship with me being slow and I can't run and I can't jump. So for all the things he couldn't do, 3-time champion. So how many time Hall of Famer? All-Star, Hall of Famer. And again, people point out, he's a better player than Doncic. So to say that he couldn't dominate in this league is horseshit.
I think it's crazy. And the other thing people don't realize is the 3-point shot didn't have the same weight that it has now. Do you know what his scoring would be if he was able just to? He would have backed up for the 3-point shot more often.
Not to mention the defense today lags off, so you can shoot the 3, and you giving him an open look.
He would be a different player in this NBA, but he would have been a better player,
right,
and not a worse player. And watching this, it's you don't. I love this episode because I didn't really know anything about Bird's. I knew him only as a basketball player. That's all I known him as.
Right.
Because to me, that's all he is. Because he played basketball, then he went to management, coaching. He's just been basketball his whole life. So I never did any research to know anything more about him, and to know about what's coming up in this episode as we continue to talk about it. Was fascinating to me. I say on stage, every one of us in this room is going through something right now. There's not one person that's not going through something. And I say that on stage, and I forget it when I'm in regular life, that everybody has, these things that we're dealing with. And I had no idea.
Well, I've seen all the, the 2 great documentaries, the ESPN one. I don't know if it was a 30 for 30, but it was like a 3-part special called Lakers versus Celtics, Best of Enemies.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And then I saw the one on HBO, Courtship of Rivals. And it was in Courtship of Rivals that they talked about how Bird's dad committed suicide because he lost his demons with the bottle and the times he served in the war. And they incorporated that into this. Yes. And I love how they also incorporated how Bird explained on Courtship of Rivals, as far, and people were saying, look, man, this man came up in French Lick, Indiana, the birthplace of the Klan. And he could have been racist, but he wasn't. He was like, listen, man, when I played ball, I would play with the black guys who worked at the hotel. They let me play. They accepted me. They kind of took me under the wing. So he learned from the best. So he had a respect for the brothers.
What's funny is he has a respect for humans, but he didn't respect anybody on the basketball court.
Right. Well, he respected brothers enough to let the opposing coach know, if you put a white guy on me, you're disrespecting my game.
Yeah, that he did do.
But I love how they, and again, unless you saw Courtship of Rivals, you'd have saw that moment and you wouldn't have really knew contextually what that meant. But because I saw Courtship of Rivals, I went, wow, that's they put that in there. I just wish they kind of alluded to that a little bit. Like, you know, like he like somehow made some reference as to, like in Courtship of Rivals, why that moment was significant.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little bit of a backstory on that.
Did you know about him going to play for Indiana before?
Yeah, that was in Courtship of Rivals.
I saw Courtship. I don't know how I missed some of this stuff, but maybe I just don't remember it.
He was like, it's too big. He was like, dude, I'm a shy guy. I was out of my cocoon.
Yeah, he was going to play for Bobby Knight.
Right.
And he never even played one game.
Now, you know what's funny? And of course, Bobby Knight, with the history of, you know, yelling at players, being physical. When Michael played for Bobby Knight for the Olympic team, where he won his first medal, Bobby had nothing but praises for Mike. Like, he was like, this dude is fucking special. Clearly, he would have saw something in Bird to the same degree. I wonder if he would ever have, well, one, I would imagine that when he said that, he never chastised Michael, you know? Therefore, he probably, because I'm wondering, would he have ever had to chastise Bird and get in his face and almost get physical like he did with so many of his players? Or was Bird and Michael that special that he went, I ain't got to do nothing?
You know, I don't know, because this is where Bird is still very hard for me to understand, because he talks shit, but apparently he was a leader, but I think he led on the court. He didn't lead like through
like vocally. He
led on the court, and he maybe would call people out in his talking shit, but I don't think that he led. I don't know. But he must have been a leader vocally as well, because he was a good coach.
Well, I think anything, and this is what, you know, what was great about the Best of Enemies. Maxwell, I can't remember his first name, but he was when he was on the Celtics. The guy Maxwell, he said, you know, Bird was so aloof.
Vern Maxwell? No,
not Vernon Maxwell. That's what I was thinking, but that's Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
He was going, you know, you wanted to try to talk politics with Bird? Nothing. You wanted to talk, you know, current events? Nothing. But in the locker room, if you talk basketball, he talk basketball with you all day. But anything outside of that, he was quiet.
Yeah, everything.
So that's why I'm to your point. Yeah, I think he was a leader vocally because it was basketball.
You're right.
Anything that was the language of basketball, he spoke. Anything else,
close to his chest.
Right.
He didn't speak about it. The thing with his dad, though, that's in this, because we were on that, it's a little bit different in real life. I mean, I went back to you know, get a little bit of information about it, and there wasn't that conversation between him and his dad. So he didn't get that kind of closure. He didn't get that kind of conversation before it happened. It was a phone. It did happen, but it was a phone call to his. It was completely.
They got to dramatize.
Yeah,
it a little bit.
and they're saying that they're taking quite a bit of liberties in this this season. They took quite a bit in the last season. But before we even go on there, I have to start at the very beginning of this episode with this, though. The way they film this and break the fourth wall and the characters, but when that smoke went from Red Auerbach smoking, and then it went through the television
to Magic's face,
and then to Bus's face. Dude, that was such a fucking good call that you can't make it anything else besides like like these series that they're doing.
Right.
That was so fucking good.
And that's like breaking the fourth wall without breaking
the fourth wall.
Yeah,
and I have
man.
that's what I wrote. They break the fourth wall all the time, but this time they did it with the cigar smoke from one TV to the face of the other person.
Right.
Dude, there was something about that was so like special and what they're doing in this. And yeah, they're taking a lot of liberty. And this is why I'm tying this into taking a lot of liberties. They're creating a new they're taking this genre to the next level.
You know what it feels like? Pop-up book TV. When you were a kid, remember how fascinating pop-up books were?
I still like them.
They don't even make those today.
Yeah, you can find them every now and then. Yeah, but I love them. Yes.
But that's what it feels like. A smoke through the TV, the lips on the cast talking. Yeah. It feels like, I love the moment when Bird went to the gym and finally decided, all right, I'm going to go to this school, Indiana University. And it said, yes, he played in jeans.
Yes.
And he's just kicking ass in jeans.
And I read on that is true. They offered him shorts and shoes, and he denied. He said, nah.
Yeah, let's just give me the ball.
And then he wiped the fucking floor with the varsity team.
Dude, and this is what I love about Larry Bird, that they're really portraying this because everybody said Larry Bird was one of the biggest trash talkers in the NBA. For a guy to be so aloof off the court and so silent to himself, again, basketball was the thing that was his world. So he became a different person. And I love the fact that I remember in one of those documentaries, they said, yo, not only was Bird a shit talker who could back it up with his skills, he could fight. And there's a picture, I don't know if you remember, Dr. J has his hands around Bird's throat. He looks like he's choking the shit out of him. And Bird has his fist balled up like he about to punch Dr. J in the face. And one dude said, there was a moment where Bird was leaving the locker room and some player said something about his teammate and Bird just hauled off and hit the guy and knocked him to the floor. This nigga was not a pushover. That's why I'm going, again, in today's league, not just skills, but he'll throw hands. Bird had hands.
And 80s, 90s basketball was different.
Yeah.
And they fought on the court. Not that I'm saying they should have been fighting on the court, but they did fight on the court. The players did.
Right.
They took it to another level later. But when they started fighting with the stands. But
that was a whole different.
That's a whole different thing that I wasn't going to go to. But I also thought it was interesting that when Bird leaves Indiana and doesn't play for Bobby Knight, I didn't know this. He was a trash man.
Really?
And there was nothing above or below Bird. What I mean is he did whatever he did.
Well, that's why he threw his back out, because he was trying to do his own yard, do his own driveway. Yeah.
Yeah. He was
like he was a and sorry if I keep sounding repetitive, but again, this is why I got to keep going back to these documentaries on Courtship of Rivals when Magic Johnson was talking about him and Bird in the Olympics. And he was like, when it's time to exit the building and the crowd is out front in front of the entrance and the photographers are there, I don't go through the back door. I'm Magic. I go through the front door. He likes all that glitz and glamour. And he was like, Bird is the kind of guy where he goes, yeah, I don't want to go in there. Show me a back door, man. Let me get through a back door. I sneak out of here. And Magic goes, and Larry, because that's what he would do, I'll find a back door for him. So it's just the polar opposites of who they were. Magic is Showtime in every sense. Bird is a farm dude from French Lick. Quiet, but'll bust your ass.
Yeah, and he stayed a farm dude.
Yeah. He stayed humbled. Not to say Magic wasn't, but, Hollywood is Hollywood. You know what that is.
But then that goes to where you have Bird, who's basically telling Red Auerbach he doesn't know if he's going to enter, that he's going to sign with the Celtics.
Right.
In this episode, he might go back because he wanted the college championship. He wanted to go back for one more year. And
but see, there's an interesting dynamic in that to me because pretty much 99.9.9.9% of the time, black players can't wait to get drafted or would even leave early because they trying to get their family out of a predicament. Bird is going, no, I almost would rather stay in French Lick and work a regular job.
Yeah.
And he was poor.
Yeah.
So why didn't he have that same that black players have, like, because nigga, money, get out the ghetto, improve my family circumstances. We trying to run away from that. Bird seemed like he would have been okay settling in that.
I think it had to do with his legacy. And there are some players, black and white, that want that legacy more importantly than the money. But I don't know what their circumstances are. We know Bird was very poor at this point. I don't know what other people's circumstances are when they opt to stay back in college. And some people want the degree. Some people know that this isn't going to last. This might not last for very long. So,
dude, 25 when they said when Bus goes, I'm gonna give you $25 million for 25 years. Now back in the 80s, that was a hell of a deal. There's no way you could. I'm even going, how do you survive off that in the 80s? Because, taxes is taking half. Then your agent is taking 10%.
Yeah, but $100,000 went a long way back then. A Mercedes was, what $25,000, $30,000?
Well, I guess.
it was a different time completely. But when I heard it, you hear it in today's time. You don't hear it when you're watching it. It's back then, but you hear it in today's numbers. And I went 25 million. Damn, that ain't even worth it.
Right.
I'd never seen $1 million, but to me, when I heard it, I was like, that ain't even
like
worth it.
You'd almost have to have endorsements.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, and that's it.
And what player plays for 25 years?
Well, that's not the point. He was still going to give him $1 million every year. Bus was always going to take care of Magic. And that's kind of the deal that he structured. But I like in this where they show that Bus was actually smart and that he was getting ahead of when they talked about getting ahead of the curve. Yeah. And then I do like that they went back and now I'm going to forget his name. Who was the other guys that played with Magic? That's Magic's friend that's in this.
Cooper.
Cooper, yeah. Cooper's like, I didn't even ask for a raise. I got, and he goes, I'm a Laker for life. So what Bus was doing was actually.
You mean there are people that actually do business the right way?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But and more to the point, I'm just going to say that in this is coming up. I don't know if it's in your notes. The guy that they traded away so that they could.
Nixon.
No, before Nixon, because Nixon's not traded in this one.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I
Jones?
don't. I don't.
Yeah, Bus was pissed about that. He was mad that Paul traded because they had to give up some compensation for that trade so they could get Kupchak. And Bus, in real life, they don't show it in this, was really mad at Westfall. Not Westfall. Westhead. Westhead for
Paul Westfall was the son's coach. Yeah.
That's why I got him confused. I'm surprised you knew that.
No. Let me tell you why I can never not know that. Number one, 93, he went up against Jordan. But I remember he was so infuriated with how Michael was kicking his ass. He says to the bench, either foul him or don't foul him.
That was a player. He's a coach, but he was a player in that moment because he was a player.
There was another guy, some guy on the bench who wasn't known. He interviewed him, and they interviewed him in the locker room, and they asked him about Michael's performance. And the guy was in a daze. He went, he played like Michael.
But and this is the one, and listen, I'm going to turn this into, this is really fun for me because it's branded from the UK. We'll really hate this because I'll turn this conversation into a little bit of a Michael Jordan thing again, because you just brought it up. I love the fact that no matter how great all these guys were, and Charles Barkley said it that one time when he goes, it's the first time I had to actually admit that I wasn't.
There's a player better than me.
Yeah. And all these other players knew that. And that's what's funny when I see these guys trying to have this conversation.
I told my daughter, I said, I think there's a player that's actually better than me. When we read the emails, dude, I gotta find two things. It's funny when I read the comments, before I read the name, I go, ooh, that's kind of scathing. Then I go, oh, this nigga. This is from Brandon. He just keeps talking shit. But the part that's killing me is he's still here.
Well, he likes it. He likes it.
But he tries to act like he doesn't.
He loves it. He loves being, someone has to be the Joker, man.
I'm telling you, dude, he is a masochist, if I'm getting it right. The motherfuckers who wear the leather, they call him
the beating.
He wants the beating. He wants the ball gag in his mouth. He wants me and you to wear patent leather and whip him in his ass. He wants us to stick all kind of missile-shaped things in his ass. Cucumbers, eggplants.
There's always a bad guy.
Bananas. I think he would like it if we stuck a whole thing of grapes in his ass, and when we pulled it out, it's just the sticks and tweeds. All the balls of the grapes end up in his booty.
Okay, let's go back to
okay. Before I get cocksucker, before I get to my last note, I got to jump back to episode 2 because there was something I wanted to say that I didn't say. And this is actually a little bit in relation to Magic's relationship with Bus. Because I get the sense that, listen, when people go, man, we love you, you're like family, yeah, that's nice to hear, but it's bullshit. It's about business. But as long as you're making a motherfucking money, they'll tell you what you want to hear. But I almost got the general sense that Bus and Magic were more than just, this is the owner of the team, I'm the guy that plays for his team, in a sense, works for him, relationship. Like, there felt like there was a real relationship. And I also get that from, and I hope they, as we get deeper into this, especially when Pat Riley becomes the head coach, they explore this. But they fucked with it a little bit when Pat was the one trying to help build Magic's confidence back up through the rehab. Pat Riley and Magic really had a love for each other that, to me, went beyond player coach. There was a real friendship, because I remember when Magic did his documentary, specifically on ESPN, that was talking about the announcement. I think it was even called like The Announcement. And Pat said something to the extent of, by this time I was coaching the Knicks and Magic wanted to come back and a lot of people were treating him different. They weren't hugging him. And Arsenio even went, the one thing Magic said to me was, what I hate about this announcement is I'm not getting my hugs the way that I used to. People are acting different towards me. He goes, players who I thought were my friends. So Pat said one day, he just called Magic up and said, hey, man, come to the gym. Let's me and you go one-on-one. He goes, I worked him out. I got him lathered up. I got him sweaty. And at the end of it, I hugged him. And I took it all in. His sweat, everything, to let him know, you're my friend. I love you. That I hope they show that, man. And as good as an actor as Adrian Brody is, and I love this dude, Isaiah, whatever his name is, playing Magic. I want to see that moment. I really want to see that moment.
Well, one of the things about Riley and then Westhead, the difference is Riley was a player.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's not just this wasn't just X's and O's
But there were players who were avoiding Magic.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about in the doc when he's trying to build Magic back up. He understands it from a player's perspective. The other thing was, and I understand Magic being upset about not getting, being treated different, but they weren't treating Magic different. They were afraid of AIDS because it wasn't described to people. People at this time didn't know the difference between HIV and AIDS in the first place. They thought that once you had either one, you were gone. There was no cure. Everybody thought that was a death sentence. Everybody thought that Magic was going to die. And everybody thought that they could basically get it from casual it could happen from casual contact. I mean, people weren't educated at the time. So, it's like a lot of people get on Karl Malone because Karl Malone didn't want to have anything to do with playing with him.
Right.
But, it also goes to how well educated you were. And that shows that we weren't educated about it. The NBA could have done, and not that it was their response. I don't think the NBA knew all the facts to educate the players better. And I think when David Stern did know, he did do the best he could. But, I mean, it was limited on what factual information that they had, how to disseminate that to the players, and make sure that everybody was comfortable. I feel like he was, as bad as that situation is to be in, where you already feel like you could be your death sentence, he was needed. It sounds weird, but he was kind of the face of AIDS. He didn't even have AIDS. He had HIV, but he was the face of it for the community to go, this is not what you guys think it is. Let's get educated. Let's do more. And he took that responsibility and he ran with it. So, you got to give a lot of credit to Magic because he could have turned that into, he could have just went and he could have died, just given up. And he said, I'm going to beat this. And he meant it.
Well, that's that winning mentality. And I'm glad you made that point, because that brought me to another point I meant to make or ask this question from the last episode. Magic has won on every level. High school, college, first year in the league, pro, 5 times.
Olympics. Now, on record, yes, Michael Jordan has 6 championships. But is Magic a better winner than Michael? Since he's won at every level. Well, Mike won in college. Yeah, and he won Olympics.
But he didn't, I don't know if he won in high school.
I know he didn't win his first year because he got cut from the team.
Right.
I think it's mentality, and I think here's how I would look at it. I think mentality-wise of winning, of a pure winner, probably Michael. But to enjoy life, I'd be Magic. Magic enjoyed his life, and he still won.
Well, clearly, nigga, the HIV, nigga.
But he was a winner, and his talent and his desire to it's funny that you have what you just said, but it's just he was going to get every piece of life that he could.
Listen, side joke, Charlemagne the God was interviewing Magic, and what was so crazy is the way Magic laughed at this. I was like, is he laughing? And listen, Magic's obviously, he's not a dumb guy. But I'm just going, did he laugh at that because he truly thought it was funny? Or he got caught up in this is an awkward moment, I don't know how to respond thing. But Charlemagne the God goes, hey, Magic, let me ask you something. When you got the results and you found out, at any point did you say to yourself, it was the dirty bitch in Sacramento? And Magic took a beat, but then started dying. That was hats off to Charlemagne. That's balls.
That's a good, but you don't think that if that's happening to you and you're going through
you have to in your head.
have to think about you're going through who in the fuck?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Back to Magic for a second, because this was a question, and you and I talked about this at the club. This was a question that was asked to Steph Curry. Are you the greatest point guard of all time? And Steph pauses.
I saw it.
And then eventually answers, and he alluded to, he goes, you talking about me like against who? Like Magic? And that to me felt like that's the only motherfucker that you could say is better than me. And I already know your answer, but I gotta ask. Is Steph better than Magic?
No.
Okay.
And I answered it that fast when you asked me last time.
Right.
Steph isn't a point guard. First of all, he plays point guard, but he isn't a point guard. They don't play. The Wizards don't play. Wizards.
The Wizards.
I don't know where I'm at. The Warriors don't play a traditional point guard system anyway. They share the ball for point. And dude, if you're throwing up half court shots, you're the shooting guard. If you're shooting from all over the court, you're the shooting guard. He's the best shooter. He's probably the best shooter that's ever played basketball.
That's what Michael Jordan said. He sent Stephen A. text and said, hey, let's not fuck around here. He's the best shooter of all time, but the best point guard is Magic.
Yeah, there's probably like 4 or 5 other. If you were going to make him, if you're going to make Curry a point guard, I probably have 8 or 9 other people that I'd put in front of him.
Well, I'm glad you said that because on the Last Dance, remember Michael said, listen, as much as I don't like Isaiah Thomas personally, outside of Magic, Isaiah is the second best point guard of all time. So you put Isaiah over Curry
at point guard?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
But I also put Anthony Hardaway way above him. I still put,
there's some people frowning right now.
Hey, he had all the skills. He just had a short career. I'm sorry he got hurt.
Yeah.
Not after his injury. He wasn't after his injury. That's the truth. But if I'm picking and I get to pick the year that they're playing, I would still pick him. Pistol Pete Maravich was a hell of a point guard. He gets no credit because he's a white dude in black and white, and he was a great point guard. John Stockton.
Now you're really get the fuck out of here.
He wasn't, dude. He was a hard player. He was a hard-nosed player. He's not my favorite player, but
it's amazing how bad. I don't want to get off book, but it's amazing how many people. Again, I think this is this younger generation because the people our age and older that saw Stockton play, no. There's so many people that act like Stockton wasn't shit when they discredit. Yeah, look who Michael played to win in a softer era. The fucking Utah Jazz. Stockton and Malone. Like Stockton wasn't shit.
Listen, listen. This isn't about skill now. What I'm about to say. This is just about physical toughness. If Curry was playing Stockton. And he tried to get around if he had to go around a Stockton pick because he had to go pick up someone that he was probably done playing for the rest of the night.
Steve Kerr said on Open Court, Stockton was a dirty son of a bitch.
He was. His elbows were always out. You had to look out for him.
Right.
But he was playing to what he could get away with from the rules. Now, does that make him the greatest athlete? Do I think that he's a better athlete than Kerr? No.
Right.
But it's how you play the game at the moment in time that you're playing the game. So there's other people that I could put in there besides Curry for a true point guard. Best shooter? Yeah. Is he a great guard? Yeah. But we're talking about point guard. I'm talking about it from the traditional point guard position.
All right. My last note, dude, and you know, listen, I'm going back again. It's weird, and I really hope at some point, I don't know that we could get Norm on the podcast, but I'd like to get something from him because I'm just sitting here like, and again, we know that some of this is dramatized or dramatization for the sake of entertainment. I get that, but I'm just going, God damn it, man. And listen, when you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're in LA and you're young and money and the women, you act a certain way versus the Norm. It wasn't like Norm was my manager while he was playing. Norm was my manager as an older, well-retired man. So he's different.
And you forgot the most important ingredient that you didn't say in that women, ego.
Okay.
Ego is a big deal, especially in sports.
Right. So again, that being said, I'm just going, dude, the Norm I knew, this is so far off from I'm wondering how much of this is bullshit because I'm just going like the Flash, again, Macon, Georgia, a country boy from Macon, Georgia. And this to me feels more a dude from, I don't know, New York or Detroit or a major city. But I'll say this, and again, I thought I didn't know no better. I didn't know the history. I just didn't know no better. But I thought, again, I know I mentioned this on a podcast, I really thought that I was giving Norm a dope gift for Christmas when I bought him the picture, the long rectangular picture of a baby Magic and a baby Bird with a basketball in between them. And they're both babies wearing their uniforms, their respective uniforms. And Norm looked at that and went, thanks. And I was like, damn, he didn't like it. And then I didn't know. But so I'm just going, obviously in this, they're saying that there's this beef between Norm and Magic. But I'm wondering how deep did it really go that deep? And based on this scene where what feels like an ambush when Nixon comes over to Bus's house and the way they got Magic looking at him and eating the food and giving him these eyes like, what you want to do, Norm? You gonna realize I'm the man or do we ship your ass out of here? I went, that's a little bit of an asshole moment for Magic. Like, you're an asshole. And I was just like, that's fucked up. They both ambushed this nigga, man.
Well, I went to the internet, and I know it's the internet, but a reporter ran up to Norm, saw him at the airport. And what he said was, is this real? Was this, he said, he basically said his Magic relationship has been over-exaggerated in winning time. It's been overly exaggerated.
Norm said this?
Yeah, but it doesn't deny, but he didn't deny some of the things in the show didn't happen. He just said that the relationship has been overly exaggerated, the tension between them.
Has to, man.
But James Worthy said it could. He thought this could have been a really, really good show, and he goes and he was disappointed because it wasn't.
You know what's wild? It seems like the majority of the people that really played and they're involved, they don't like this.
No, because I think it is over-exaggerating it. I think they do take it to another level. It's basically, I'm going to say it's basically true, but there's a little bit of extra sauce to make it watchable instead of just like a documentary. Otherwise, it's a documentary. This is a docudrama. And if it was a documentary, it would be different. But this is a docudrama. You got to fall in love with these characters. You got to have some give and take. You got to have some asshole. You know what this really feels like to me almost? It almost feels like those unscripted shows, like The Real Housewives of New York. This is the real basketball players of LA. Like they've taken a little bit of that.
It's not really what they call reality TV.
Yeah.
It's scripted.
Yeah, it's like they took a little bit of that kind of filming and put this into that. But I still don't think it's bad because they're basing it on real people with a real challenge. But they even say that in this that they've changed some of the names of the people that are in this because they're over exaggerating or they're combining different things that have happened. Westhead, though, at this time, though, he really did bring in that other coach. Really kind of was trying to peacock his way into saying that he was, you gotta, this is the pecking order. I'll change it. And he really did pull that move. And there's a lot of anxiety between Jerry West, them, But everybody's going through it because, and I think Westhead. Well, we're going to find out more about Westhead as we go on here, but yeah, I think there's some issues there. There's some other things in the first season that weren't really true about Westhead, but this is I think this is kind of getting on a point where he was trying to establish himself. And if you are the coach and you get hired or fired by your performance and you have the ability to put the people on the floor that you want, I kind of understand it, but he never played either. And he's not listening to anybody.
Right.
So
you know I would love to know how Kareem feels about it.
Well, that's interesting because you know, the one thing that they've done in this that's kind of funny, I think is kind of funny.
Right.
And they talk about team chemistry and, you know, he wasn't a team chemistry guy. Kareem was Kareem. And that's why they make it more like everybody was afraid of Kareem. They don't say that they didn't like Kareem. They just said, you know, they were afraid of Kareem.
But see, even now that we're talking about that, I wonder how much of that is true.
Well, I knew that it was true that he wasn't. He doesn't like everybody. He was very aloof. He didn't talk to everybody.
Yeah, but no. But they make it seem like fear.
I don't think
he walks
it was
into
fear.
a room, like they show the scene, like where when he walks into a room, everybody turning back apart ways. Stop what they're talking about. It's Kareem.
I don't know that it was that. I don't know, but
Right.
It seems to me from what I read before all this that he wasn't the easiest guy to get along with.
No, I heard that too.
And so that they would just like, you know, ignore, you know, move away, let him do his
Right.
thing because he was integral to the team. But, and you know, they did that thing where they said, is it this episode? No, I think it was the last episode where Magic is basically saying he has to accept his role, you know, that, you know, he's not the same Kareem that he was years ago. And I think that is somewhat true. And he did have to accept that, but I don't know that everybody always sees it. And Kareem came from John Wooden's school of basketball at UCLA. And there was a way to play the game, and it was a team game. So that's why I don't understand some of the way this is written, because if it's a team game and it's to win the game and they're doing the right things, I think that he gets that because he understood the team philosophy from Wooden.
I can't wait till they implement James Worthy and Byron Scott.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very interesting.
Because I really want to see what their take is on Worthy.
Well, Worthy, like I said, Worthy said it could have been really, really great.
But but unless he got a private viewing of the rest of the season, they haven't shown him yet.
No,
so
but I think what he sees, he thinks is a little bit overly dramatized.
well, then he may really hate it when they show him.
He might.
Dude, you know what I find so fascinating? And that just goes to show you there's levels to shit. Like, because I'm going, first of all, if you're a point guard in the NBA, you got some skills. You're a point guard. You're the guy that runs the show and gets everybody involved. And Norm was a good point guard. But Magic was better. Magic was special. And I go, if you know the game of basketball and you're the point guard and you know the game of basketball, why can't you do what Magic can do? Why can't you see it like Magic? Make the moves he makes, the passes.
He was like 6 inches taller than him, so he could see the court better.
Okay, but even still, I mean, Kyrie Irving ain't Magic's height, and he's a hell of a point guard, better than Norm.
Yeah, and I didn't even include Kyrie in my better point guards.
Right, so I'm just saying, why, other than the height, still, Norm
feel
can't
for the game.
do what Magic could do.
Feel for the game, understanding where your players are that need it, and then if they can't get open, being able to take the shot and create your own shot. Magic just had all the skills. That's why if I'm ever drafting, as of today, as of right now, if someone said we're going to play a game, draft your team, I'm going with Magic every time. I'm starting off with Magic over everyone else because there's other players that I can get that are comparable. Even with Jordan, I can get Kobe. There's people that I can get. I can't replace Magic because I still think he's the best, head and shoulders above all the other point guards.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So that skill level, that knowing where someone else is on the court, and being able to find them, and if not, I'll take my own shot. When they won the championship with that baby hook, that wasn't even his shot that he made.
Right.
I mean, no one takes that as a rookie. So, this is. I know we're getting towards the end, so I want to ask you this because Johnny, the brother of Jeannie Buss, I wonder how these guys feel about the show because they make them look like
idiots
and pussies.
Well, but when you look at some of their moves in real life, they look like idiots and pussies.
Yeah, but he's in love with he's dating one of the strings players, and that strings thing is a true thing. They did have a touring team of tennis players, and Jeannie was the manager of the team, and so Buss did sign off on it. But here's what I found out about it because I looked this up because I want to know how much of that was true. So I don't know if Johnny really gets upset about it or how upset he got about it, but his girl was Diane. Something I forgot her name, man. What was it? I wrote it down. I can't even remember it. And Jeannie was able to, in that trade, to end up with Christy Everett. It wasn't Martina Navratilova, but she did get Navratilova later. Right. And they won the championship. She won her championship at 19 years old with the strings. So this is Jeannie's thing. And the Buss boys, that's funny.
The boys are back in town.
The Buss boys are upset, and that statement. I couldn't find anything to verify if he really said that you'll never be his favorite son. Could be his favorite. That
feels like drama.
That feels like drama, but it is true though.
Right.
No matter what she did, she was never going to be the favorite son.
Right.
She's always going to be the favorite daughter, and she could have turned. Now, if she would have turned around and said that, and it would have been like a soap opera. Well, yes, but none of you will ever be, or no one ever will be his favorite daughter, but me. That would have been the soap opera. But I think it just goes to show, and I think maybe that's a little bit of what they're showing in there and why the Lakers are going through what they have gone through recently in our recent past with the Lakers, because they did try to make them the boys were running the team.
Right.
So more power to Jeannie, man. It's you don't have to be the favorite son. You just have to, like they said in that other one, she just has to be cut from the same cloth.
There you go. Want to give us some dates?
Sure. We're recording this while we're in basically San Francisco. We're in Pleasanton, California. And you're listening to it on Wednesday. We'll already be gone. Let's see. August 31st to September 3rd, we're going to be at Helium in Philadelphia. Can you taste your cheesesteaks? Can you smell them?
That's confused. That sound like some shit he say when he get hit in the ring.
That was his. That's like that episode. That's the. Was that the second one with Mr. T, or is that the third one? Third one. That sounds like him in that one.
What?
Sylvester Stallone when he's getting beat up by T.
Right. Come on, fool! Fight! Let's get bibbles!
September 7th through the 10th, we're going to be at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Ooh, yes.
So that's 2 weeks I'm going to be able to take the train and be at my house. I love it. September 15th through the 17th, we're going to be at the Louisville Comedy Club in Louisville, Kentucky.
How's the greatest?
Yeah, we're going back, right?
Yes.
All right. So I got you to say it twice, so now I know it's for real. September 29th through the 30th, Aries is going to be at the Kansas City Improv.
And he'll be there too, y'all. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Ah!
October 6th through the 17th, Hartford Funny Bone in Manchester, Connecticut. October 13th and 15th. Yeah, it's in a mall. I don't
mind that.
Don't be mad at a mall.
No, there's always an incident.
October 13th through the 15th, we're going to be at the Orlando Improv. I like Orlando Improv.
When you wish upon a star.
I don't know. By the time we get there, they might have already closed up Disneyland. Disney World. Yeah, no one was going. Yeah, no one was going.
Damn.
Let's see. October 26th to the 27th, we're going to be at the Milwaukee Improv. Really looking forward to going back there because we've only been there the once.
Hishko, Habago, Jalisco Lead Incorporated. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, we're going to see if it's for real. But
we're going to do it.
It's Shamil Shamazel.
You know I don't know that shit. But
Haas
you
and
do.
Pepper Corporated. I was at home with my mom. Well, you weren't even
Nigga,
born.
That's your Jubeek, nigga.
You weren't even born.
That's your Jubeek. You got the words written on your snout.
No, you weren't even alive when that was on TV.
No, but I saw it. I mean, it wasn't,
you
were there for the original airings.
I was there, right, and it was coming on right, dinner, and that was like the only time in my life where our family was watching TV together.
We're gonna break it. This is how I like to. All right, go ahead.
November 3rd to the 5th, we're going to be at Levity Live in West Nyack. I'm driving up to that one. November 10th to the 12th at the Improv in Tampa, Florida, followed by November 16th to the 19th in Ontario, California. The Thanksgiving shows are going to be back here. We're back here. This is where I'm going to end it. We're back here in the San Francisco Bay Area, but this time it's San Jose, California at the Improv. That's a cool club, though. I like that little theater kind of setting. That it's an old building, but it's cool.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah. Cali Boy Dre song promo. Music on all platforms at Cali Boy Dre, KaliBoydre. Instagram, Facebook, Cali Boy Dre, KaliBoydre, and YouTube channel at The Real Dre Fiasco. TherealDrefyasko. Enjoy Cali Boy, cuz.
That's the show.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.